Welcome to the third session of Discover the Laws of Life lecture series. Today's session, which is titled Refining Relationships, Deepen Your Emotions and Connections, will be facilitated by an alumnus of the Vedanta Academy.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome you all to this third session of the laws of life. Discover the laws of life. So as you are aware, we have 5 sessions, and in these 5 sessions, we will try and understand these concepts of Vedanta and try and apply it in our day-to-day life. So we will see how it can be applicable, practical in our regular everyday life. Now, before we move on, in the last week's session, I saw some clarification regarding the word Vedanta. I didn't realize that we did briefly covered it in the first session, but I thought we'll start with that and then we move to the summary of what we did in the first, second, and today we'll start with the topic of relationship. Now, when we talk about Vedanta, what is Vedanta? Just to put it very simply, as we know, it's made of the word Veda plus Anta. Veda means knowledge, Anta means end. Vedanta is made of 2 words, Veda and Anta. Now, knowledge and end, that's a literal meaning. Now, what does it mean? As you know, there are 4 books of knowledge, which are called as Vedas. Rig, Sama, Yajur, Atharvana, doesn't matter the name, A, B, C, D, the 4 book of knowledge. Now, these ancient script, ancient knowledge given out by these realized masters are covered in this book of knowledge, which talks about different aspects of life and living. The end portion of each of the text, for convenience, you can say last chapter. So, book 1, last chapter, book 2, last chapter, 3, 4, last chapter, contains the philosophy, the essence, the meaning, the significance behind the rest of it. So we have 4 books. The last chapter contains the significance, meaning, essence. And that knowledge is Vedanta. So Vedanta is made of 2 words, Veda, knowledge, Anta, end. Knowledge which is contained in the last portion of the Vedas is called Vedanta. Right? Now, there's a pun in the word, a knowledge which takes you to the ultimate human experience, the end of human experience. So, simply put, this is a knowledge given out by this self-realized master. These are laws of life which are meant for us to apply in our day-to-day life to make our life a better, to conduct ourselves, to handle ourselves a better way. Now, we have discussed, we have 5 sessions, as you know. We have already covered 2 of them, and today is the 3rd session. In the first session, we did more of an introduction where we understood what is Vedanta and different aspects of Vedanta. In the last session, we discussed about the application in ourselves. That's what we discussed about stress and success and rest of it. Today's session is about dealing with the world, relationship. Wherever we are, whoever we are, one thing is for sure, we have to meet the world. You can't run away from the world. You can't keep on changing people, situations, circumstances. We can't do that. How long can we keep doing it? So it doesn't work like that. See, our ideal condition would be that we are around people who are always caring, loving, respectful. They think about us, they actually consider us, and they listen to us. All these are ideal conditions, right? In other words, we do not have people who are against our views, who are hating us, who are not liking us, all the rest of it, right? So when we talk about life, it doesn't work in the ideal condition. And that's where, if you remember Swamiji's quote, we have discussed it earlier in the slides you might have seen. it is not who or what you meet in life that matters, but how you meet them. Swamiji says, it is not who or what you meet in life that matters, but how you meet them. So the world will be what it is. I can't keep changing the world. Yes, ideal conditions. I cannot have an ideal condition all the time. There will be situations where I am put in a place where I am not able to relate to people. The people are difficult to deal with. They are things which is not going according to what I think is right. So, how do I go about it? Vedanta is about facing challenges. It's not escaping life. It's about going along, understanding the situation and handling in the best way possible. So today's discussion, we'll try and understand the last point which Swamiji is saying, how you meet them. So it is not who or what you meet in life. It is not the world. It's not the object of being in the world which is creating a problem, but my attitude towards them. How do I relate to them? How do I meet them? That makes all the difference. So, to have a relationship, to refine our relationship, to deepen our connection with the world, with people around us, we need to consider, first thing to consider within ourselves is, what are the factors to be considered within ourselves? We start with the factor, the first thing, which is ego. A very big problem. So the thought flow will be that first we'll try to understand what are the factors to be considered within ourselves. Next point will be what are the principles and the laws to be considered. And the third section will be how to apply this principle in our day-to-day living. And then we will have a quick few slides to understand these concepts, and we will have a poll, and in the end we will have a Q&A. Okay, so we'll have a summary and a Q&A. So this is the whole gist of the session for the day. Now to start with, what are the factors to be considered within myself which affects my relationship with the world? First factor to consider is ego. Okay, now let's understand what is ego, and then we will understand what is wrong in that expression, and then we will take it, how do we correct it. Now, what is ego? Ego is that individuality we created because of our arrogating factor. So we have already discussed in the first session, we as a human being has a physical body, we have a mind, we have an intellect, right? This is the fundamental, the basics. Human beings, we have a physical body which merely performs action. By itself, it cannot do anything else. Beyond the body, higher than the body, subtler than the body is something called as the mind, which has nothing but emotions, feelings, likes and dislikes. And higher, subtler than the mind is something called as intellect, which is the unique faculty only a human being has, an ability to think, reason, judge, decide, discriminate, analyze. This we have covered till now. What is ego? Where ego comes in the equation? Ego is that arrogating factor which arrogates the body, mind, intellect to oneself. My action, my feelings, my thought is different from your actions, your feelings, and your thoughts. That fundamental arrogating factor is called as the ego. Now, we all are born with this individuality. Is there anything wrong with it? No. There's nothing wrong with having that individuality. But what Vedanta says is, where is the problem? The problem factor is when we start developing it further, when we build it further, that arrogation builds up it becomes I alone. So it is all about me and me alone. That creates further problem with the world. So the fundamental ego is not the problem, but our attitude is, since innocently, ignorantly, what we do is we keep developing that ego further, develop it more and more, and that becomes a solid individuality. Thereafter, we segregate ourselves from the world. We'll come to the point with the discussion of the segregation, but the understand the ego, somebody said repeat the point. Okay, so ego is that arrogating factor, that thought, arrogating thought that arrogates the body, mind, intellect to myself, oneself. That thought is called as the ego. There is nothing wrong with that thought, but it is about how do you address it. If we aggravate that thought, it develops into further as I am supreme. I am the greatest. It's always about me. What is arrogating? It is a thought. It's an arrogating thought. So I am supreme. So ego is not the problem. It is the extension of the ego. We keep on feeding the ego. So how do you know it aggravates? It manifests as, the first level of manifestation is I am supreme. It's all about me. Do you know who I am? Did I discuss about myself? Did I mention who I am? So wherever you go, it is not the action or it's all about me in that situation. So the whole highlight, the first part is I am supreme, right? Its whole highlight is in my individuality. The second level of manifestation is I am the doer. So everywhere, whatever we do, we don't realize anything beyond me, and we consider only I am doing it. I am the supreme person. I am the doer. I am the main person who is doing it. That's again a manifestation of my ego. I am the doer. I made it happen single-handedly. I did it all. Right? And the third level of manifestation is I alone exist. I am the only person existing. I go inside the room, and I don't care who all are there sitting. Somebody is watching a television, somebody is watching a match. I don't care anything. I go and switch on the TV, change the channel, switch on the air condition. I don't even consider to ask other people, is it okay? Are you okay if I change the channel? Are you okay if I switch on the air condition or switch off the air condition? It doesn't matter. I don't even realize anybody else exists. I alone exist. So the entire world moves around me. Everything has to cater to me. So factors should be considered within ourselves. Ego. First point is ego. How does ego manifest itself? The first is I am supreme. Second is I am the doer. I alone exist. So what happens is we start feeding our personality, feeding our individuality, and that creates a separation from others. A king, there's a story, a king goes to a mirror room, okay? And he is seeing himself in the mirror from different sides, and he is adjusting himself, and he's very happy about it. There's no problem. He comes out. He had a dog, and the room was left open, and it just went in. And the story goes, the dog went in, it got completely terrified to see so many reflections of himself. He didn't realize it is himself. So it started attacking, it started barking, and at the end of the day, it died. It actually collapsed. Now, the king went inside the mirror room. The dog went inside the same mirror room. How did the king see the reflection? How did the dog see the reflection? What was the difference in both their perception? And what created the difference? Now, friends, if we carefully analyze, it is because of the understanding of things, about the knowledge the king had. He knew the reflections are not different from him. It is part of him. There was nothing to fight. There's nothing to contradict. There's nothing to go against. Whereas the dog does not have the knowledge and understanding that all the reflection is nothing but him alone. So it was terrified, it was fearful, it see a competition, it was agitated, disturbed, and the rest of it. So world, individual. More ignorant we are, more separated we are from the world. More difficult we find to relate with the world. Everybody is difficult, everyone is wrong, everyone is challenging, everything is it's not happening, they are going against my views, all that conflict, everything happens. More the ignorance, more the separation from the world. Moment you start reducing that ignorance with knowledge of higher values, knowledge of Vedanta, automatically you start finding a sense of belonging with the world. You don't see it a competition. You don't see it somebody separate, somebody is trying to take me out of my position, somebody is trying to put me away. You don't see it like that. Each one has a different way. There's a saying, a stone which is fit for the wall will never be lying on the ground. A stone which is fit for the wall will never be lying on the ground. We need to make ourselves fit for the wall. So the effort has to be to become more beneficial, better in our whatever we are doing, instead of trying to counter others. When we are ignorant, we find everybody is a competition. When we gain knowledge, more and more knowledge, the differences reduces. Higher the knowledge, there is no difference. You see one with everyone. Each one has their own way of doing things. Each one is there. They have a different nature. You understand them. You are able to connect with them. And the last phase is you merge with the world. Leave that. That's the ultimate state. Now, ego is that ignorance which separates me from the rest. Right? So, the first fundamental problem we need to understand is the factor of ego. And that further aggravates into different complexes. What are the complex? It can be a superiority complex, it can be inferiority complex. Ego builds up into I am superior or I am inferior, I am nobody. Both are wrong. So how to counter the ego? There is a very interesting, the poem Mountain and the Squirrel. Swamiji has a book. It's called Select English Poems, where there's a collection of several poems from William Shakespeare. The different poets which they have given different ideas, and the philosophical part is Swamiji's explained it. So one of the poem, The Mountain and the Squirrel, is very interesting. The mountain and the squirrel had a fight. They had a quarrel. So the mountain is bragging, you small fellow, you little squirrel, you can't do anything without me, Even to make a squirrel track, you need me. You know what I'm doing? I'm carrying the forest on my back. So the small squirrel, he says, talents differ. All are well and wisely put. Talents differ. All are well and wisely put. If I can't carry forest on my back, neither can you crack a nut. Each one of us have a strength and weakness. Each one of us have a place in this cosmos. We need to find out our place and do whatever we can, the best of our ability. It starts there, ends there. So how to counter ego is knowledge. Only when we gain higher knowledge and understanding, we start recognizing that we coexist in the world. We alone exist. No, it is not only I have to exist, so that everything in the world has to be catered to me. It does not work like that. I am coexisting with people, with these beings, other beings, with nature. How do I go about working together? In relationship, it is very important we understand, handle this aspect of our personality. The first aspect we said, it is the ego, right? The next aspect of our personality is selfishness. It's all about me. Everything has to go according to me. So that selfish and self-centered interest shows in my action. How do I act? So there are three types of action. It is the three types of actions are selfish actions, selfish, self-centered action, where everything is according to what I want, right? So I do it because it is catering to me. Better than selfish, higher than selfish is unselfish action, which is nothing but I do it for others. And higher than unselfish is called as selfless action. What is selfless action? It's nothing but doing what you ought to do. No prefix, no suffix. Good, bad, doesn't matter. If you're a preacher, you preach. You're a teacher, you teach. You just do your obligatory duty wherever you're placed, the best of your ability. No prefix, no suffix, nothing to gain out of it. You just perform. Why do I perform? Because I am supposed to do it. It naturally you perform your obligatory duty. Sun gives vitality. It has no motives. Nature gives life. It has no motive. Rose gives fragrance. It has no motive. Moment we color the action with motive, with an intention, with something negative in it, it disturbs us. Selfishness. So, how do we handle selfishness? Is again with knowledge. So, let's say I am only thinking about myself. Today, I care only for me. Everything has to be catered to me. Everything has to be around according to me. What is growth? What is spiritual growth? It is to push that from oneself to family, right? For me, unselfish will be to be able to consider, be able to accommodate the interest of the family. If I am already operating at the level of my family, I am concerned, I am caring, I am doing all the rest. What is growth for me? I move to the higher level, the community. How can I add value? How can I make a difference in the society, in the community? What can I do? If I am already at the level of community, I move higher to level of country. What can I do so that I can help the country, my country, to make it better for others? If I am at the level of country, I move higher to level of humanity and entire living beings and beyond. So this is moving from selfishness to unselfishness. As we keep growing with knowledge, higher and higher, what happens is we are able to accommodate interest of other people. We become unselfish, and that unselfishness attracts people. We're in the topic of relationship, remember? So in relationship, it is important. So we need to address the problem within our personality. The first is ego. The second is selfishness. In a 1 hour talk, I can't do justice. I'm just introducing the ideas. There are text, there's material. You can always explore for yourself and you can find out. But the bottom line, the ego and selfishness can be countered with knowledge. So nothing wrong with ego. We are born with ego, but we need to gain knowledge to counter it. Remember, we said, I am supreme, I alone exist, I am the doer. This is how it manifests. If you analyze and apply the knowledge, is it true that I alone exist? There are people around me also. You start thinking, you start applying the knowledge, understanding, basic understanding. I need to live with other people. I can't do everything on my own. So I am the doer. Is it true that I am the only person who's doing it? Is it not fact that other people also contributed? Millions of people have contributed to do whatever I am right now here. For me to do this, isn't that true that thousands of people have helped me, from my teacher, from my parents, from my siblings, from my all the rest of it? And we are not even talking about the scriptures and Swamiji and what all his entire life he has spent on this knowledge and the rest of it. So to discard all that and say, I am doing it, is sheer ignorance, sheer lack of knowledge. So with knowledge, we can address our weaknesses, our problems within our personality, the ego and selfishness. It's easy to say, you know what, wherever I go, I'm not able to relate to people. What is wrong? Why are they not happy to relate with me? Why are they seeking somebody else? Because they see something different. Okay, take example of a child. Imagine a child walks in a gathering, in a party. Everybody goes and starts plucking the cheek. Oh, so sweet. Who are you? Where are you? Who's your parents? He's being taken care. Everybody's going and getting attracted to the child. What makes the child attractive? And why is it that there are people in the party, you go, oh my God, that fellow is there. You know what? Let me just escape. Let me go from the other side. I don't want to deal with that guy. I don't want to talk to that person. What makes the child so attractive? What makes that person so repulsive? It is the ego and selfishness. The child does not have an ego and selfishness. It doesn't want anything. It's just pure. As we grow up, we develop it in our personality, and that spoils it all. Innocently, we are not, we just don't know. So with the knowledge and understanding, we can handle it in a better way. Nothing wrong with it, but we need to guide it properly, right? This is as far as our personality is concerned. Now let's get into the factor understanding principles. So we'll try and understand two principles. We're talking about laws of life, so we need to know the fundamentals. Okay, so these are theorems. So understand these principles, and then we will see how to apply these principles in our day-to-day life. Okay, the first principle is no two minds think the same. Even a sibling, an identical twin, they don't think the same. They are having different opinions, different understanding, different perspective of life. Point to note, different doesn't mean wrong. Just because somebody thinks different from me doesn't mean that that person is wrong. So we need to understand the principle, the fundamental principle. Each one has a different way of thinking, different way of functioning, different way of conducting themselves. There's nothing right and wrong about it. You can't say, okay, a tiger is ferocious, right? A snake is poisonous. A deer is meek and mild. You can't say the tiger is wrong, the cow is right. You can't say that. That is the nature. That is how it functions. Similarly, even in human beings, each one is distinct and different. We need to recognize that. We need to respect that. We need to understand that. So, the first principle, no two minds are same. And the second principle is world per se cannot give joy or sorrow. What do we mean? Take example of a cigarette, object of the world. Cigarette being the same gives joy to one, sorrow to another. One person is trying to find out where he can smoke. Other people detest smoke, can't take it. If we say joy, happiness was part of the world, object of the world, then everybody contacting will have the same experience, which is not so. One person likes it, one person dislikes it. So we say world per se does not have joy or sorrow. It's how you relate to it. Another example is about beings. First was object, beings of the world. One lady, one person is doing everything possible to get divorced from that lady. He's fed up him, fed up, and he's like, enough of this. I can't take it. He's going to all his contacts, trying out everything possible just to get rid of that lady. Another person is doing the same just to get married to the same lady. Now, we put back the question, if the lady was a problem, everybody relating will have the same experience. If there was a problem with that, then one person will not quote and one person will not be detested. So we give back and say that it is not with that lady, it is not in the object or being of the world, but how you relate to it. So, principles. First principle we said was no two minds are same. Second principle we said was world per se cannot give joy or sorrow. It's how you relate to the world. Now, apply these two principles in our relationships. Okay, that's what we are going to do. The practical application of these principles in our day-to-day living. How do you apply? The first point to understand, no confrontation. No confrontation. The lady says, it's night. You say it's a beautiful night. Huh? It's okay. Let her be, So, if you analyze, if you're following the thought flow, no confrontation is addressing an aspect of our personality. And if you recollect, we started with the problem factor in my personality. And that was, the first problem factor was ego. Confrontation is to do with your ego. Go the other way. Why do I confront? Why do I go against the opinion of others? Right or wrong? I may be right. That's not the point. But the point is, why am I going against? Because of ego. I am right, everybody else is wrong. Fundamental theorem I follow because I believe I am always right. Now, if I want to relate with people around me, I cannot carry this understanding in life. If I want to have a harmony in my relationship with the world, I cannot say I am always right. I need to give a due respect and regard for others' opinion. They also exist. They also have an understanding. Right or wrong, they have a way of looking at things. It can't be just I'm always right. It can't be. Maybe the other person has a perspective. Maybe the other person has a view. When we are able to accommodate other person's views, we are respecting the other person in the equation. Can be anybody. Can be in workplace, can be in partnership, can be in as a children. Children say something, you don't have to deny all the time. Give them understanding ideas, yes, okay. But that doesn't mean you deny or go against them. Whatever they say, go opposite. No. Explain, discuss, think along with them, guide them. So, First level of application is no confrontation. Principles we had, no two minds are same. When you understand that each one thinks differently and different need not be wrong, you are able to accommodate other people and we are able to address them respectfully. Yes, you have a view. This is what I think. This is what you think. That's fine. We can reconcile. We don't have to reconcile. You don't not always have to accept my views. I can go along with you. Sometimes I may not. Whatever. You may keep your belief. This is what I think. It can be addressed in a way where you're not going at the level of the ego. If you're operating at the level of the ego, you can never maintain an harmony in your relationship with anybody. There will always be a conflict. First point, no confrontation. Second point, right assessment. We covered it briefly in the last session, right assessment. It's a difficult idea to have the right assessment of people, situations, circumstances around me. Simply put, it's to be realistic in life. We need to come out of our imaginary world and understand things as it is, not how I expect things to be around me. I want everybody to be caring, loving, everybody to be recognizing my work, everybody to be. It does not work like that. Let's understand we are live. In the world, we are always live and we are functioning. We have to do whatever has to be done. Then now here. So, right assessment is to have the right understanding of things as they are, not as I want it to be. One thing is very interesting about this equation or this understanding is that when it comes to animals, we have no problem with relationship. When it comes to animals, we don't have a problem with relating with the animal. And this is the reason for that. When it comes to humans, we have a problem. An animal, we don't have a problem. Okay, how do we explain that? Imagine you go to a lion's cave, dead, and you start complaining. I give you food, I get so much for you, I care so much for you. Is this how you treat me? Is this how you talk to me? Is this you always screaming at me? Is this how you function? You don't say that. You don't do that. You appreciate the lion from a distance. You do whatever has to be done, you appreciate it. A snake is poisonous. You understand it, there's no problem. When it comes to human beings, we have a problem. The reason is, in the case of animals, they have a collective nature. They have a common nature, identical nature. All lion is ferocious. All cows are meek and mild. Since they have a collective nature, it's easier to understand them and relate with them. When it comes to humans, why we struggle? Because each one has an individualistic nature. Each one of us are unique and different. Go back to the first principle, no two minds are same. Since each one of us are different, distinct and different, we have a fixed pattern of understanding. No. Everyone should be unselfish. Everyone should be caring. Everybody should be loving. Everybody should be. We have a fixed pattern of things, and all our complaints are because the world or people around are not fitting into that pattern. And we keep on complaining our entire life. So, which is lack of assessment. There's a very beautiful quotation. All the grumbling is tantamount to, oh, why is a lily not an oak? All the grumbling tantamounts to, comes down to, boils down to, oh, why is a lily is a flower, not an oak, is a tree? We always keep complaining about things, about the people, about situations, saying, why is this not that? Whereas what we need to do, we have to accept this, that as that, lily as lily, oak as oak. Understand it as it is. So the assessment, since the world does not fit into a pattern, that creates problem. What's the problem? We get agitated, disturbed. So take the other side. If you have right assessment, you have realistic expectations, and because of the realistic expectations, you have harmonious relationship with the world. You don't complain, you don't criticize, you don't, all that problem doesn't come because you know things as it is. You understand things as it is, so you handle it accordingly. So, right assessment. And the last part of, the third part is based on duties, not rights. We need to live our life based on duties. What is my duty towards the other person, towards the country, towards the society, towards the family, versus what is my right? Everybody should be catering to me. Everybody, world, the country is messed up. There's so much of corruption, sir. You don't know there is the potholes. The people are not doing it right. There's so much negativity in the society. What am I supposed to do? Am I paying my taxes? Am I doing what I can do? I complain about uh, dirt in the road. Am I picking it up? Whatever I can. Am I doing that? When I go to other country, I don't do that. Why is it that in my country, I keep on distributing the dirt everywhere? So I have a responsibility, I have an obligation. Go back to the first slide we discussed about the problem with us, selfishness. Here you see the sign of selfishness comes in, based on duty. Right is selfishness. I want it. It has to be according to me. Everybody should be catering to me. I am in that partnership. I should be catered to. I should be taken care of. Versus what is my duty towards my partner? So the whole equation changes, whole perspective changes, and that helps in building your relationship with people, situations, circumstances around you based on duty. And the last one, the most difficult one, is relationships should be based on pure love, detachment. Now, it is important that all our relationship is based on pure feeling of affection, love, not a personal aggrandization, not a personal reason, selfishness. What's the difference between love and selfishness? The equation is selfish love equal to attachment. In other words, attachment is equal to love plus selfishness. I love you, there's asterisk there, in this fixed deposit or whatever you make that, mutual fund and all that is long, one small line, terms and conditions applied, and there's a small asterisk there, and there are pages and pages of that asterisk going on. Terms and conditions applied. I love you with condition. Conditional love. If you cater to me at the level of the body, materially, physically, emotionally, intellectually, then I have an affection for you. If you don't cater to me at any level, I hate you. Full stop. There is no discussion. What these masters are saying, that is not love. That is attachment. Moment I have a conditional reason for having that affection, it is not love. It is selfishness. I want something out of the equation. I give you 10 rupee, you give me 10 rupee back. I want it back, right? It's bargain, right? I give you 10 rupee, I want you to talk about me everywhere else. It's a bargain in a different way. That's about it. So it is important that we do not place our relationship on attachment. In other words, how do we solve the problem? How to get that purity of affection by deleting that aspect of selfishness in the equation. Nothing wrong with the person, nothing wrong with the situation, nothing wrong with anything else. But what is affecting me in the equation? Why am I not able to go along? It can be partner, it can be children, why they are not able to relate to me, why they want to get away from me, why they don't talk to me, they don't share their feelings with me, because of attachment, which I call it as love. It's not love. It's not a genuine care and concern for the other person. So when there is a genuine concern for the other person, automatically I will have a genuine feeling. I let the other person be. So there's a saying, attachment is very opposite of love. Love says, I want you to be happy. Attachment says, I want you to make me happy. That's the difference. Selfishness. I want you to make me happy. Swamiji says, your home should be the center, not the boundary of your affection. Remember that slide we discussed, the circle of identification? You go from oneself to the family, to country, community, to the other being. That is expanding your identification with one and all. That comes when we automatically reduce our selfishness in my personality. Swamiji says, your home should be the center, not the boundary of your affection. Somebody requests for the last slide. This is the slide. Attachment is very opposite of love. Love says, I want you to be happy. Attachment says, I want you to make me happy. And we have already gone through the circle of identification. Now, what we will do is, we will have a poll to understand this concept of love and attachment. So these are the practical applications. No confrontation, right assessment, based on duties, based on pure love and detachment. So to understand this concept of attachment and detachment, we will open a poll. We will take maybe a minute. So all of you, please join in and give your thoughts. So I just shows 3 slides. I gave some points in it. See what makes sense. See what you think about it. And, we will discuss. Sorry. Right. So I am launching the poll for all of you. Please share your thoughts and let's analyze that thereafter. Here you go. On your screen, you will see something. You can just click on whichever you feel. There's option A, B, C. There are 3 questions. And based on that, once you're done, we'll just wait for a few more seconds, 30 seconds, and then we will continue. Okay. Thirty-one people have contributed, shared their thoughts. Okay. Please reshare, Pooja Mera. I can't reshare. I think I have to end the poll again. But see whatever. It's okay, Pooja. We can, when we are going through the slide, you can go through it. 67 people. Okay. We'll wait for a few more seconds. Right. 10 more seconds. 106 people have contributed, shared their thoughts. We'll wait for a few more people. All the questions, we'll take it up. We will, you can keep it, we will take it up in 10 minutes. So I'll just summarize it and then we will take it up. Okay. 115 people, 5 more seconds. So I'm closing the poll in 3, 2, and 1. Right. So what were the questions? So we had, are you nurturing or suffocating your relationship with over involvement? Water a plant patiently versus overwatering, drowning a plant in care. So 60% said it is balanced nurturing, 40% said over-involved caretaker, and detached observer 15%. So understand the concept of love and attachment in this. So whatever we are doing doesn't matter, what we should be doing. So that is the last part, which is detached observer. Do whatever can be done, and balanced nurturing is the ideal way, but wherever possible, be detached. Let the other person grow, help them to grow, right? Now, that's what is very interesting slide I got, so I thought we can share this. And the next one is looking at other persons, seeing their growth, and looking at own reflection in their success. So are you happy for their growth even if it is independent of you? So 64% people said that yes, they are genuinely happy. 2% said we feel insecure, and 20% people said we may have a mixed feeling, right? So understand the concept here. When I see the other person grow, what makes me look for my reflection in their success is my attachment. Is I want to be highlighted in that, my selfishness in that. So what Vedanta is saying, that destroys your relationship. You can't sustain it longer. You will not be able to keep that freshness in that relationship because you're giving a condition for yourself. Don't do that. Be happy where they are for their growth. They will be with you. When you have a genuine concern for them, we don't need to feel insecure. So it is automatic. It's a nature. It's a law. Moment you let them be, they come to you. Moment you try to hold them, they want to get away from you, isn't it? So that's the love and attachment. And the last slide we did was a tree giving a shade unconditionally and person expecting fruits from the tree constantly. Do you give without expecting, or is a transaction in disguise? So in that we had 40% people saying mostly unconditional, 32% people said it's often expecting returns, and rest people said never thought about this in this way. Interesting. Okay, I never expected that answer. Great. So when we receive, when we give, how much we expect anything in return. The moment we have an expectation, like few people said that they never thought about it. It's interesting thing, isn't it? That we try to understand the things as it is. You do your obligatory duty and responsibility and don't ask anything in output of it, in return from it. So another person, if you see in the picture, is always asking for something constantly, expecting fruit from the person, from what it is there. So a tree is giving shade unconditionally. There's nothing to gain out of it. That should be the attitude in our relationship. Then it helps us in developing it further. Then we can have a deeper emotion with people around us. So just to summarize with the day's discussion. So we said, first thing, factors to be considered within us, where we spoke about ego and we spoke about selfishness. Ego expresses as I am the doer, I am supreme, I alone exist. And selfishness is it's always about me, myself. This is something which we need to consider, understand in me, and address it. Right? Now, based on that, with knowledge and understanding, So moment you gain higher knowledge, higher understanding, automatically you understand that there is no point in saying I am the doer, I am supreme, and I alone exist. It doesn't make sense. So automatically you are able to address that weakness in the personality. Same thing with selfishness. You try to recognize other people, interest, and we need to grow as a person by understanding that selfishness is hi, all there?
Yes, now we can see
Okay.
you.
Okay, sorry, something might have happened. Right. So we are. I'm just sharing the screen again. So as you see, we are summarizing, and what we said was that the practical application. So the first thing we discussed about is I am the doer, I am supreme, I alone exist, and the selfishness part of it. This is what we need to factor, consider within ourselves. Then we spoke about understanding the principles. What are the principles? World per se cannot give you joy or sorrow, and no two minds think alike. These are the principles, and based on that, we said what is the practical application, which we said no confrontation, right assessment based on duties and based on pure love, not attachment. And then we had certain scenarios and we discussed about to understand the difference between love and attachment. Thank you so much. Next week, we have a session on mental temperament.